Trikonasana, triangle pose, so you'll come into a standing position, Tadasana. Inner edges of the feet together, roll the shoulders back and down, lift through the chest. So I'm just going to demonstrate the triangle pose to start with. So you just watch for a moment. We're coming into this action. We're not trying to get too far in the pose. Tadasana, mountain pose. Weight back into the heels, thighs lifting, kneecaps lifting, frontal hip bones lifting. Here, this area, weights down. So you have to think about that tailbone area really heavy and lengthening towards the floor. Bring your hands to the middle. If you have knee, hip or back problems, you step your feet. Otherwise you can jump. Press down into the outer edge of the feet, stretch out into the fingertips, make sure your toes are pointing directly forwards. The feet should be more or less underneath the hands, so if you're not taking your legs wide enough, then widen them. Come up onto the heel of the left foot, pivot the toes in 15 degrees. Turn the whole of your right leg and foot out. So we get this turning, rotating action at the root of the thigh. So we turn, turn, turn at this point. Press firmly into the outer edge of your back foot, and then keeping both legs straight, come into the action. Extend up with the top arm, rotate that frontal thigh, and breathe. Use your back leg to lift you up, turn the feet to face forwards, and we'll go to the other side. Turn the right foot in slightly, the whole of the left leg and foot out. If you need to rest the arms down between sides, then do so. Those who've been doing a bit longer, see, can you keep the arms out? Get this rotation, turn, turn, here at the root of the thigh. Press down into that back leg, stretch the arms out so you open out where that blanket went and extend down into the action, top arm up. So keep drawing up through this front leg, don't drop into that front leg, press firmly into the outer edge of the back foot so that you activate the inner thigh on that back leg. And now coming up out of the action, turn the feet to face forwards and step or jump the feet back into the centre and stand in Tadasana. Roll shoulders back and down, lift through the chest and find your stability. Watch while I demonstrate the next action, which is Prasarita padotanasana. We lift through the legs, hinge and take the hands down. Now you might not be able to take the hands to the floor, that's fine. You can use your chair and put your hands onto the seat of the chair. If you have these miso washing up bowls, you may be able to use something like that. It might be that you've got a stool, a little stool or something around that you can take your hands down to. In yoga, we're trying to get the extension in the body. We're not trying to achieve a pose. We just want to get the benefits from each pose for our particular body. Bring your hands to the centre, soften your knees, step or jump the feet apart. Now push down into the outer foot bones, make sure that your feet are as wide apart as your hands. Look down at your feet. Are your toes pointing directly forwards? If not, then turn them in so that they do. Get that energy action coming from the outer hips to the outer foot bones, inner ankles to the inner groins. And where is your tailbone? Make that tailbone long. Put your fingertips here on your navel. Move your navel back towards your spine, hinge forwards. Keep that navel moving back towards the spine. Take the hands down. Look forwards along the floor. Press firmly into the outer edges of the feet and let the breath flow. So for those who are new to this pose, I want you to heel toe your feet in a little before you come out. For those who are familiar with this pose, activate your legs, press your outer foot bones down into the floor, take your fingers off the floor and place them onto your navel, and then use your legs and your abdomen to lift yourselves back up, and then heel toe the feet in. Come into Tadasana. Okay, so either you're going to be repeating that pose, taking the hands down, maybe onto the seat of the chair or to bricks or whatever, or you're going to come into the next action. So I'm just going to show what that next action is, and it may be that here the people who are coming into this next action will need to have some blankets or some foam pads to put their head onto. So I'm just going to show. This goes back. Now we have to really work the legs, work the legs, work the legs. Lift here through the front of the body. Then the hands come down, you walk them back, and the head releases, maybe down to the floor, but the floor is a lot further away than you might think. So it might be that you need your towels, pile of foam pads, something like that to take the head down onto. Don't worry about it. And don't get hung up on where does my head come. Those who are new to the group, you're just taking your hands down onto the seat of the chair, onto the floor, wherever you can get your hands to without any discomfort. If there's a strain here into the inner knee, you need to bring the feet closer together, and then the hands will have to come up higher. That's fine. It's a process that we work through. Take the legs wide, either stepping or jumping, stretching the arms out and then bringing the hands here onto the navel. Now you've really got to use your legs. Push down into those outer foot bones, lift up through the frontal pelvic bones, make the tailbone long and heavy. Lift here and then extend forwards. Keep the action, keep the action, keep the action, keep the lift. Keep your legs really working strongly. Keep the lift through the navel. Take the hands down underneath the shoulders, those who are working onto the floor. Those who are working onto bricks, take them onto your bricks or onto the seat of your chair. Now those who are coming into the full action, push into the outer edge of the feet, lift the navel, walk the hands back so that the heel of the hands lines up with the heel of the foot, and see where does your head come to. Have you got your blankets ready to put underneath your head? Maybe they're not high enough, that's fine, don't worry about it. Alright, walk the hands forwards, those who've got the hands back, walk them forwards, press into the outer edge of the feet. Those who are new to the pose, heel toe your feet in at this stage and then bring your feet together, step your feet together. Otherwise, active in the legs, hands onto the navel, lift up, heel toe your feet in and step or jump your feet back into the centre. Strong action. You can come into Viparita karani, legs up the wall. I would suggest you have a belt for this, but if you don't have a belt, just keep the legs together. It's a little less restful. You can always use a tie or a dressing gown cord or something similar to tie your legs together. So actually, this should go on after you've put your legs up. Sorry about that. Because for many people, getting up into this is a bit of a struggle, so we don't want to make it worse by tying the legs together. If your back isn't happy being close to the wall like this, or the backs of the hamstrings are uncomfortable, you wriggle yourself away from the wall. You can even work with the legs bent, with the thigh bones vertical. Okay, so that's how you will work if you are not doing the shoulder balance. Those who are coming into a shoulder balance, Sarvangasana, Salamba Sarvangasana. You do need to have a platform. So if you don't have any equipment to make yourself a platform, folded towels, you need quite a lot of them, folded blankets, then just come into the legs up the wall, Viparita karani action that I've just shown. Because it's not a good pose to do if you haven't got the supports. I'm just using a bolster here. Last week, I think in this group, I showed having a slightly higher support to help you roll into this. The shoulders are on, base of the skull lines up at the front edge of the support, hands onto the bolster, knees into the chest, and you roll in. So don't try and look at the screen once you're in the pose. Your elbows move in towards one another and you walk your feet up the wall. If you're seeing this for the first time, then it would be good, just moving my hairband out of the way, it would be good to watch the demonstration and then rerun the video so that you can hear the audio instructions, the verbal instructions. Have the feet slightly apart when they're at the wall, push your hands into your back, move your elbows in, make sure that your shoulders are on the support, the back of the head is off the support, and then when you're able to get your balance, take your feet away from the wall. So you can really extend into the inner heels, roll the thighs in, and get as much lift through the legs as you can. So I will give you the instructions on coming out when we come out. So those who are working in the pose, push your fingers into your back. So use your fingers on your back ribs to lift those back ribs into the body. Use your thumbs into your side ribs to lift your side ribs up. There shouldn't be any pressure in the head. If there is, you need to come down, rest down, and then try again. Now, it might be some people get pressure in the head and it takes a while for them to get over that. So that might be the case for you, but you can't work with pressure in the head like this. So it might be that you do Viparita karani, legs up the wall for a little while. That will get the heart and the body a little more accustomed to working upside down. So these poses are pretty strong. Alright, so everybody's going to release down out of the actions. You're working in Sarvangasana, shoulder balanced, roll down. Take the launch pad out from underneath the back of your pelvis. Wriggle down your support so that your head and shoulders are supported on your 4 foam pads. So this brings the heart higher than the pelvis. Have your legs bent. If you need to have support underneath the head, then you can use your launch pad, your bolster or your brick or whatever you've used as your launch pad. Or if you don't, you can just interlock the fingers behind the back of the skull to just lift that up slightly. People with legs up the wall, knees into the chest, roll to the right and coming up. Okay, roll to your right, come into a seated position and just have a quick look at what we're doing now. We're coming into a set to bander action. Now I am using 2 foam pads and a bolster. I appreciate not everybody has got this equipment, but you can make kind of a bolster shape out of thick blankets, pillows, maybe pillow wrapped round with a blanket. Maybe you could use blankets with a mat wrapped around the blankets to make this kind of a shape. The idea is that we're lifting the chest up. Now, if you don't have foam pads, it really doesn't matter. If you've got a skirting board, you can put your heels onto the skirting board. If you have a couple of thick books, you know, like old encyclopedias or something like that, you can put your feet up onto those. Just have a look around and see what you've got that will work for this. Okay, so we're lying down on the bolster. Hold the back of the head, rather like we did just now when we came out of our Sarvangasana. So we've got the fingers interlocked, and I'm pushing here with my feet. So I'm not just placing myself directly into the pose, I'm pushing to get the opening in the chest as I roll over that bolster. Lift and lengthen in the back of the neck, and then stretch the heels out. So as I say, you can take your heels up onto a skirting board, keep the legs strong and active. If the feet are to the wall, well, so much the better. Actually, it gives you another area of contact, but make sure that the legs are straightening. All right, so we'll come into that together. I'm just going to move my bolster a little bit further in so that I can get my heels to the wall. Lie down towards the front of your support. Recline back. Hold on to the back of the head. Now, we need to get the shoulders onto the floor, but we need to get it by opening the chest. So push with your feet to open out in your chest. If you rest your shoulders onto the floor, lift and lengthen the back of the neck, and then place your heels up onto your supports. Now my feet are to the wall, and that gives me a little bit more traction again. So I'm pushing into the wall to get more opening in the chest region. So once you're in, observe the movement of your ribs. You can even put your fingertips onto your rib cage. Fine inhalation, fine exhalation through the nostrils. If your back is uncomfortable, bend your knees, roll to the right and come out of this. We're not going to be in it for very long. Alright, so everybody bend the knees, roll to your right carefully as you come off your support. Your support might have been higher than my support, so you have to be a little bit careful when you roll out of those. And then we're coming into a supine action here. If you need something behind your head, then take a blanket or a foam pad. So this is the action we're going to do. We're going to bring the knee into the chest, extend the other leg out, so we bring the right leg in, extend the left leg out, taking it slightly out to the left, bringing it back, and swapping over. Alright. Okay, lying down, legs bent, feet on the floor. Just let the back of the pelvis soften and release into the floor. Breathe. Now bring your right knee in towards your chest, interlock the fingers at the head of the shin, and extend your left leg out, hovering the heels slightly above the floor. Now take your left leg a little out to the left, and bring it back to the centre. Bring your left knee in towards you, hold on to your left shin, stretch your right leg out. From there, take the right leg slightly out to the right, bring it back to the centre, and bring it in. Now hold on to your shins and just rock slightly from side to side to just let the back of the pelvis release.